Hello everyone, this is Linda, and today I wanted to come on and show you a project that I made for my daughter. It's, well, I'm calling it a fabric wedding album. I used pictures from her wedding, and I think it turned out pretty good. I wanted to show it before I take it to her. I'm giving it to her this week when we go for Thanksgiving, because I'm not going to see her at Christmas. So anyway, let me show it to you. On the front, I have used some wedding appliques, and I have some dangle trim down here at the bottom. I printed this on fabric to have and to hold, and then down here it says from this day forward until death do us part, and then it's the day they got married, September the 4th, 2004. I printed all the pictures out on fabric, and so I'll show you the inside. I used, I don't know, I think it's organza maybe, to make a ribbon, because it got so thick I had to have a tie for it. So that's what I'm using. And so inside, on the left side, I put pictures of my daughter and son-in-law, and on the right side I just have pictures of my daughter. So here I used some curtain appliques to dangle, and then this is some wedding appliques here. This is curtain up here. This is wedding applique and wedding applique here. I used a doily, and I used some vintage trim that I got from a yard sale a few weeks ago, and I just glued in some rhinestones. And on this page I used some more wedding appliques. A little trim here from Michaels, and I used some little flowers with a little bling in the center, and that's all I did to that page. Then over here, I got a little carried away on this page, but I like it. I think it turned out pretty good. I used some curtain appliques here that I coffee dyed, and these are some wedding appliques here and here and here, and I used a red tea to dye these. It was a cranberry and pomegranate, I think, and it was very red, and so I like the color that it turned out. It's got a little bit of a pink tint to it, but it's still more of a brown color, I guess. And then over here, I tied a bow with some seam binding, and I used this little Prima spray here on the side. And this was a little, I think it was from Jolie's, little picked little embellishment. And on this page, I didn't do a whole lot. I thought it looked pretty good the way it was. I just used some trim from, I think it came from Walmart, some wedding applique, and the only thing extra that I added was these two little little blingy danglies things here. I don't know where they came from, but I got I think like about 25 of them in a package, and I don't remember where I found them. But anyway, I thought that was enough on this page. I'm finding a lot of glue strings. I did use my heat gun and got most of them off, but I'm still finding strays here and there. This page I added a dangle trim, and then on top of that I used this braided trim, and I don't know where it came from, and it's got these little loopy things around it, and this came from a curtain, and this is some Prima flowers. I tied a little bow there. I used some vintage seam rickrack. Is that rick? Yeah, rickrack. And I put a butterfly on that page. And then on this page, I had this trim here, and it was flowers and some other kind of little applique in between the flowers. And I just cut the little thing out and used the flowers. And they have some little, some kind of sequins or something, some kind of little beads beaded in through there. And I used those in the center of those flowers, and then just put some little blingies in the center of these small flowers that came from a wedding dress. And this trim I got from a yard sale a couple weeks ago, where I've got some vintage laces, and that's one of them. And then I just used some Chinese braid trim around the edges here. And then on this page, I used some more of the Jolie embellishments. I just used a trim from, I think it was Hobby Lobby there and around here. And used these little, I don't know, they look like little fans with little rows in the middle. So that's what I used on that page. On this page, I used a doily and some vintage wedding dress appliques, and just some little bead string here. And that was, oh, and then I used this crochet trim that I ruffled it a little bit just to get it to go around even. I didn't realize how hard it would be. At least for me, it was hard to keep the oval shape of this book. I usually do square, but the oval was a challenge for me, but I think it turned out okay. Then on this page, I used this trim, which I didn't know where it came from, but the other day I saw some. I think it was at Walmart, so I guess that's where it came from. I used a little crochet trim around the picture here, and another glue string. These are Prima flowers, and then I tied a bow here out of seam binding. And all of these flowers are fabric flowers. I tried to stay away from anything else. I wanted it to all be fabric, so there's nothing, no Wild Orchid Crafts or anything in here. I went to my Wild Orchid Craft stash several times, but then I thought, no, I'm going to stick with the fabric, so I just made do with the fabric flowers that I had. Then on the last page, I used this pretty lace, and I tea-dyed this and ruffled it around the edges so that it would go all the way around without puckering up. Then I used some rosette trim. This really pretty trim here. It's a plastic, looks like little leaves, and then the rhinestone is in each one. And I don't remember where that came from, but it's the first time I've used it. I had about 1.5 yards of it, and I think I have maybe 10 inches left, something like that. And then I used another peachy colored rosette trim here. And then on the back, I used some Chinese braid, and I made a little fabric tag here that just says handmade for my beautiful daughter, her name, my name, and the date. So, oh, and then the spine I covered with these 2 flowers here, and they're Prima flowers. So, yeah, that's it. That's my fabric wedding album. So, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.